in standing. So come to stand on your mat or in your space. Make sure you've got enough space around you. Lots of options, lots of levels. Choose what works for you. Take your break as you need to as well. Hi Alex, just joining us there. Good to see you. Okay, so just in standing, we're going to do a lovely little warm up with lots of sort of shoulder control work. Not too much strengthening, but really focusing on those kind of smaller muscles that sit and work our shoulder joints. And then we'll see if we can revisit that. I'm going to throw a few different options in, just because we've got a lovely lady who has a little growing baby bump. So I might be up and down on the mat this evening. So try not to get too confused with me throwing a few things around. But you can always join in, even if you're not growing a baby bump and you want something slightly different. It's just to avoid too much lying on your back. Okay, so as we begin, just come to stand for me, feet hip distance apart, and knees are soft. Let's just pause for a moment just by closing our eyes and just feeling how our body is this evening, and maybe even how our mind is. If we've got a lot of chatter going on, can we just kind of slow that chatter down? Just feeling for any areas that feel a little bit stiff, a little bit of tension, and we'll do another quick check at the end of the class, and hopefully that all feels a little bit better. Okay, so open your eyes and grow nice and tall through your spine. So you're just lifting up through the crown of your head. And let's loosen up these shoulders before we begin to work them. So you're just going to take one shoulder and you're going to roll round, back and down. And you're going to do that on the opposite side. So really accentuate that movement. A nice big circle. Scooping the shoulder around in the joints. We've got a ball and socket joint. So really roll that ball all the way around the socket. Lovely. And as we do that, we can just gently create a little bit of tension by drawing the tummy towards the spine, as if you've just tightened the belt on your trousers. Lovely. Let's do one more on each side, because they do feel quite nice just to loosen all of that up. Okay, deep breath in, roll the shoulders up towards the ears, and as we breathe out, just slide those shoulders down into your back pockets. And we're going to try and just gently hold them there. So you should feel a sense of tension just building up ever so slightly between your shoulder blades. And also we're just going to work to draw the rib cage down towards the waist, so the upper tummy's working as well. We're going to hold that there as we float the arms up to shoulder height, and then back down to our pockets. Lovely. And again, floating up. You can use your breathing as well with this. So inhale, exhale as those arms move. Breath in and out. And I want you to really think about those little shrugs of your shoulders down into your back pockets. So as the arms come up, the shoulders don't float up with it. Really work those muscles between your shoulders. And then if you want to, we can add a little heel raise just to warm the legs up a little bit. Nice and slow though. Slow, see how we go. And as we float up, keep that tummy gently turned on through the front, or maybe work the pelvic floor, whatever works best for you. Okay, two more. Nice and light through the heels, nice and light through the arms. Okay, final one. We're going to hold the arms where they are, but drop the heels down. Okay, and then we're going to bring the hands out in front, but keep the elbows bent. Lovely. Okay, elbows stay bent, and this time we bring the palms facing forwards, and then palms facing down. Good, and up and down. Now keep that gentle tension through your tummy, and make sure your back doesn't arch as your arms lift up. So we want to keep the spine nice and stable and get all that work rotating through your shoulders. So you'll notice that my arms, the upper part of my arms, stay nice and level as I'm doing that movement. Should feel like you're having to think quite a lot about this, and the backs of those shoulders should be firing up now. So really push through into the backs of those hands and come down. Imagine you've got like elastic bands attached to your fingers and you're pulling through some tension and then releasing that tension. And if you want to add that balance challenge, float up onto tiptoes, and we're going again. Good, we've got four more. Well done, guys. Super simple, but super hard work for those little muscles around the shoulder and shoulder blades. 3 and 2. Super, and 1. Okay, hold the hands up, lower the heels down. Now work to draw those shoulders down into your back pockets as you reach up and overhead, and then back down to that stop sign. Good, and again, up and overhead, and back down. Let's add those heels. So as we float up, we're going to come up onto tiptoes and down with the heels. Good, and up. Lovely, and down. Let's add that pelvic floor. So as we come up, a little gentle lift, and as we come down, heels come down. Breath out as we go up, and in as we come down. Pelvic floor squeeze, and release. Watch those shoulders are creeping up as your arms go up. Okay, 4 more. 3 more. Good, 2 more. Arms should be nice and warm now. 1 more. Good, and down we go. Bring those hands down and back to your side and give it all a shake and wiggle. Good stuff. Okay, keeping these shoulders working, but this time we're going to add a balance challenge. So level 1, you're going to peel one heel off the mat without letting your pelvis drop down to the side. So really engage that standing hip by tucking your bottom underneath, okay? Level 2, we come to standing tabletop. So we can float that knee up in line with that hip, again, tucking under with that standing leg. We're going to come to our dumb waiter. So elbows tucked in, we've warmed these shoulders up now. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and down as we float out and back in again. Lovely, out and back in again. So we've got 2 levels. Level 1, the heel is just lifted. Level 2, the leg is lifted. But we're working really hard with that standing leg to tuck that hip underneath. I'm going to come and see you and make sure you all tuck that hip underneath. Good work, well done. And open up through the fronts of your shoulders. So really smile through those collarbones. Oh, lovely. A few more people have joined us. Hello. Okay, let's challenge ourselves. So we're still in that lifted heel or lifted leg. Come out into that dumb waiter and then float one arm out to the side and draw it back in. And the opposite arm out. Good. And we're just going to alternate from side to side. So as the arm floats out, we're still working hard not to tuck that shoulder up to that ear. So you've got those lovely diamond earrings on and you want to show them to the world. So don't hide your diamond earrings. Now this standing leg is going to get really tired now. Try to ignore it. Just think about those trays of drinks that you've got in each hand and you're just feeding them to the guests on your side. Here you go, have a champagne. And then to the guests on the other side, have a champagne. Lovely. Let's go for a double arm now. So stretch those arms out to the side and come back in. Keep that leg nice and high if you're on that standing tabletop. Good. 2 more. Oh, spicy legs. Good. 1 more. And back in. Straight over to the opposite side. So heel could be lifted or leg can be lifted. Okay, start with that dumb waiter. We know what we're doing, so let's really focus in on our technique now. Check in on that standing leg. Make sure that butt hasn't kicked out to the side. Tuck underneath. Grow tall through that standing leg. Good. Shoulders, collarbones nice and open. Tall through your spine, so make sure you're lengthening through the crown of your head. Good. Okay, single arm Cleopatra, so elbows out to the side, reach away with one hand and back in and away with the other hand and back in, making sure that rib cage is still gently drawn down towards your waist and hasn't started to sort of flare forwards as those arms are working harder. Good. 2 more on each side before we go for the double. I'm coming to see you. Good work, George, looking very well balanced there. Well done, good work, guys. Okay, now for that double arm reach. Okay, so standing tabletop or heel lifted. That leg's getting tight, you could always drop it down and then lift it back up again. We've got 4, we've got 3, 2, and final one. Good work. Okay, down we go and shake it all out. Okay, before we come down onto the mat, let's just loosen off through the back. So a little bit of a roll down just to help to do that. Feet just slightly wider than your hips, starting nice and tall. Knees are soft to begin with if you wish, and you're just going to peel down through your spine. We know what we're doing with our roll downs. So imagine you're a piece of wallpaper just being peeled away from the wall, top to bottom, And we're really working hard to sort of stack those bones one at a time, rolling down on top of one another, hanging heavy at the bottom. Imagine little weights in your fingers just bringing you over your feet before we tuck underneath with the tailbone and stack back up to stand. We're going to do 3 of these this evening. So you can work at your own pace just to go a little bit deeper with every one. Feeling everything just loosen off. Keep it going. Let me come to see you. Nice work, Nat. Lovely. Good flexibility this evening. Okay, so this is probably your last one. So roll down, and we're going to use this one to come down into a box position on our mat. Okay, so still take your time. Enjoy that lovely feeling of every bone just moving of its own through the back, and then bringing your knees slightly bent if you need to, hands down onto the mat, and then walk into your box position. Okay, we know what we're doing with our box position. Any issues with your wrists, you can just step your hands slightly further forwards of your shoulders. Otherwise, work those wrists and arms with your hands beneath your shoulders. We've got that mirror between our hands, and we're just looking into that mirror, keeping the back of our neck nice and long, and a helium balloon lifting up through our ponytails. We're sliding those shoulders down into our back pockets. We know that because we've just worked it quite well. And we're tucking our tailbone underneath to lengthen through the spine. And then from here, we're just going to swish our tail from side to side. So lovely, nice way of just loosening up the back. Just really working into the sides of the spine this time. Big bushy tail, swish it. You're a dog who's excited. Your owner's just got some treats for you. So swish that tail, lovely, and then come back into the centre. Okay, we're going to work these muscles around the shoulder blade. They're called your boxer's muscles, or your serratus anterior. If you've ever seen a boxer, it kind of looks like fingers kind of wrapping around the sides of their rib cage. So to do that, I want you to imagine you've got a big candle just resting underneath your breastbone, and you're going to push through the heels of your hands just to ever so slightly hollow your breastbone away from that candle. And as you do that, you should just feel your kind of shoulder blades wrap around your rib cage and your upper back hollowing ever so slightly. It's not like a cat stretch where we're really arching. It's just a little lift. So have a quick look at me. So I'm just lifting away through my arms. It's almost like my arms have extended ever so slightly. I'm holding that as I breathe, and then I'm just easing away. So hollowing through my candle, lifting my breastbone away from that candle, really being strong and active through the heels of my hands, and then relaxing. Let's try 2 more of those. So push through the heels of your hands. This is where you should feel that lift through that breastbone. Nice. Good, you've got it. Okay, and then probably coming into your last one. Just feels those kind of shoulder blades almost like wrap around your rib cage and engage more with your shoulders. Okay, and then ease away from that and find that neutral position. Okay, from here, Emma, remember this because you might want to repeat this before we come on to our tummies. So from here, we're going to stretch one arm forwards. We've got our tray of drinks resting on our waist now, so don't spill your drink. The arm comes forwards, floats maybe to shoulder height, or maybe it stays on the mat. And then we're going to sweep it around out to the side, arm into aeroplane, and then we're going to take that hand and we're going to thread our needle, passing it underneath the rib cage, and then we're going to come back to the side, back into our aeroplane, sweep our arm forwards, and then touch back down. So we've got a lovely little movement sequence. We're going to do that again on the opposite arm. So the arm comes forwards, maybe floats up, doesn't have to, sweeps round to the side, then it tucks underneath, and we can do a little bit of a twist. This is the only time you can spill your drinks off your back. We come back to our aeroplane arm and we sweep forwards. All the while, really pushing through the heel of that hand that's taking your weight, because that is what's giving you that sense of stability. So just keep swapping from side to side, remembering to focus on that tray of drinks, keeping your tray of drinks nice and level until you get through to your thread the needle, where you can spill it and spill it good. So you're getting a lovely rotation through your spine. Go all the way down if you can, if you're happy with that, before we level back out. Okay, keep going with these, guys. Really nice strength and stability for the arms, and then a lovely rotation. You can take that shoulder all the way down to the mat with your thread the needle if you want to, so you can really get that range of movement through your rib cage. Good, and don't forget those necks, so keep that ponytail pulling up towards the ceiling so you've got nice long necks. Beautiful. Okay, keep going with those, guys. I'm going to give you an option. So should you want to work a little bit harder from a strength point of view, get the tummy engaged, we're going to combine that with a leg prep. A leg pull, sorry. It's quite a big jump up though. So hover those knees off the mat, okay? And then we float one arm forwards. We float it out to the side, and then we pass it underneath, okay? That around, arms doing exactly the same thing, but those knees are lifted. You're going to feel that fire things up a lot more. You can drop the knees down in between, give everything a shake and reset. A lot harder now to balance that tray of drinks because you've lost 2 points of contact there. Okay, I'll leave that with you guys. Choose your option wisely. I'm going to do one more on each side, okay? Hopefully you're all enjoying this. Maybe not. Coming round to that final side. And then once you're done, let's sit back into our shelf stretch and give those shoulders a bit of a release. Good work, guys, especially if you went for that second level there. Hard work. Okay, from here, stretch your hands along the mat and just line your little fingers up with the outsides of your mat. Now, don't move your hands, but bring your weight out of your feet and tuck your toes underneath. So from here, we're going to go into our down dog. So feet and hands stay exactly where they are. It's a really nice way of measuring up for your down dog stretch. And then just begin to simply lift your hips up towards the ceiling and straightening into those knees. So that helium balloon that was on our ponytail is now through the hips and it's lifting us up towards the ceiling. And what we can do from here is just work to bend into alternate knees, just starting to loosen up into those calves a little bit, lengthening through the posterior chain of the body, the long sling of muscles that works from the underside of the foot, all the way up through the legs, all the way through the spine, and it attaches into the skull. And my posterior sling is feeling pretty stiff this evening, so this feels quite nice to ease it off. And then once you feel like you've got a little bit more in those legs, take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, see if you can drop those heels as close to the floor as possible. And you're looking towards your feet, or maybe even up towards your tummy. And breathe, guys. It is a strengthening posture as well, because we've got our weight going through those hands. And then when you feel like you've got enough out of that, you can just bend your knees and bring yourself back down onto the mat into your shelf stretch. And we're just going to give ourselves a minute, because that was an inversion with our head below our hearts, just to let our blood pressure work itself out again so we don't have any dizzy moments. Okay, a short sequence on our tummies. I'll give you an option, or you can work what we just went through. So we're going to come to lie on our fronts. And we're going to set up, so we've got our hands just resting underneath our foreheads. So you might want to check out what we're doing here, and then you can set up. So from this position, we've still got to create that nice long spine. So gently draw your chin towards your chest, shoulders down, and then just gently tuck your tailbone down towards your heels. As you do that, you're just creating a little bit of a pressure of your pubic bone into your mat. And then from there, keeping the gentle pressure of your chin towards your chest, you're going to lift your head off your mat. Keep looking down. You're still looking in that lovely looking glass, and then lower down again. So just the head to begin with, and down. Okay, you could then maybe add the hands. So the head and hands stay glued together as we float up and down. Okay, so level 1 is just the head and down. And I really want you to focus on keeping the back of the neck nice and long. So as your head comes up, you're not looking forwards. You should have a lovely view of your mat throughout. You could do this in your box position. So kind of let your head hang down and then lift up. So it's that idea of your ponytail being pulled up towards the ceiling, but keeping the back of the neck nice and long. Hopefully you're happy to kind of work with that. Okay. Keep it going, guys. I'm going to come and see you, although I'm aware I probably won't be able to see any of you. Just be able to see lying on the floor. That's it, yeah. Lovely. And we can still think about those muscles between our shoulder blades. As we lift up, we're kind of squeezing down into those shoulders. It's kind of like you're saluting. Oh, nice, Afshin, looking strong there. Okay, I want you to lift and hold. Lift and hold, and then we're going to flutter kick those legs. So keep those legs nice and long, and imagine you're in a swimming pool, you're doing front crawl, and you're lifting and lengthening through those legs as you kick towards the end of your lane. Keep back of your head lifted and just stretch through alternate legs. You've got a tray of drinks resting on your lower back now. Yes, we're back at Michi with all these drinks, and you're just lengthening through those legs. Okay, keep going, guys. This is a bit of an endurance one. So we're going to count down from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh, head down and catch your breath. Lovely work. Okay, we've not been on our tummies for a while, so let's use this as an opportunity to do our cobra stretch. So just take your feet wider than your hips. You can either stretch through for your cobra on your forearms, or you can stretch through on your hands. I know you know what you're doing, but still think about those shoulders. So nice long necks as we drop the shoulder blades down towards the waist, okay? And if you want to, you can look up and just feel that lovely sense of tuck through from the sort of underneath the neck down to the tummy. Okay, and then from there, just push back into your heels. One more chance just to set the shell stretch and just do a little tail swish from that position because it feels nice just to loosen off. Okay, we are going to come onto our backs now. So you could do this in standing if you prefer. I'll stand up and show you in a moment. Okay, so we spoke a little bit earlier about those muscles that wrap around our rib cage. We're going to work them on our backs this time. So come into your rest position, knees bent, feet hip distance apart, and a little space in the small of your spine just for your little grape to rest. Think about the rib cage. Make sure it's not flaring up towards that ceiling, so you've got that connection with your rib cage down towards your waist. And the back of the neck is nice and long. So we're going to float the hands up towards the ceiling now. Imagine you're holding a big beach ball, or maybe a big snowball. That's a little bit more seasonally relevant, isn't it? So you're holding that big snowball, and without changing the position of your arms, you're just going to reach that snowball up towards the ceiling. So as if someone's just pulling that snowball away from you upwards, and your shoulder blades at the back should lift off the floor. And then just lower those shoulder blades back down to the mat without bending your elbows. And then you reach your shoulder blades away and back down again. Keep going with that. And what that would look like in standing or in kneeling, arms forwards, reaching forwards and back. Can't see you. Good. So hopefully you've got that idea of your shoulder blades almost kind of coming away. That looks great. Lovely. Okay, beautiful. Right, now you could stay there and really focus on that lovely movement, or we can add our abdo prep. So we've got our juicy peach resting between our chin and our chest. This time, floating up, lifting up through the fingers, and then the head and shoulders just peeling away from the mat. We smooth the spine back down onto the mat, and then the shoulder blades come down last. So snowball lifts off, And then we peel away, starting from the top of the neck down towards the sort of shoulder blades, and then we smooth that spine back down again. So we're imagining we're on a piece of Velcro and we're just peeling the top part of the Velcro up from our head down to our shoulders and then smoothing it back down again. Now, if that feels too heavy and you don't want to work the shoulders because you want to give your tummies a little bit of work, you can also interlace your fingers and you can just peel away using a bit of support from the head towards the hands. Okay, let's do lower tummy work for you. So we're going to do that standing tabletop super slow and then back down again. Reach your snowball forwards, super slow tabletop. Really draw your tummy towards your spine as you do that, or work that pelvic floor, girl, it will need it. Okay, now we're going to reach up with that snowball. We're going to peel those hands and head and shoulders away from the mat. And then we're just going to do little pulsing movements. So slightly higher with your shoulder blades. You can reach that snowball a little bit further forwards, or you can pulse your knee a little bit higher. Okay, you can swap legs and you can keep going with these little pulses, guys. I'm going to come to see you and I'm counting down for you in 10, 9, 8, 7. Remember, you can support your head. 6, 5, beautiful. 4, that's it, and 3, nice Lucy, 2, and 1. Well done, Julia, good stuff. Roll back down onto the mat and hug your knees towards your chest. Gently rock from side to side. Okay, lovely stuff. Can we come to sit? And let's just finish a little bit off with these shoulders before we have a lovely stretch sequence at the end. So we're going to sit with our legs facing forwards. I can't remember if we did this last week or the week before. We've definitely done it recently, but it's kind of like our reverse plank. So everything is lifting up. I think we did it last week because Rafe told me to put it in. It's his favourite move. We call it the tabletop. So hands either side of you, fingers pointing to the sides of the mat. Now this is where we're really going to reuse those shoulders now. So push through the heels of your hands so that your neck is nice and long and you've got that lovely sense of tension between your shoulder blades, okay? Start with the knees bent because we can build up from there. Now this is the only time you can squash your chin towards your peach. So keep your chin gently nuzzled towards your chest, and that helium balloon is just lifting the front of your hips away from the mat now. Keep that neck nice and long so we don't sink down in towards our neck as we come up. So you could hold it for a pause or you can just come straight back down again. I know these are hard, guys, and sometimes even just working on setting that shoulder position is a really good place to start. But if you want to go, work that pause. Okay, no heads hanging back. Gently press into that peach. Keep looking forwards and coming down. Just lift and lower, guys. Work at your own pace, and I'll give you some options if you want to work a little bit harder in a minute. Good. Squeeze that bottom and try and get your hips level. Alex, that looks great. I've got a really good view there as well. Nice. Be open through the fronts of your shoulders. So you've got a helium balloon attached to your heart as well. So your heart's going to lift. Good. Okay. Straight legs for those of you that want to work a little bit harder. And what you can do is roll the kind of thighs into one another as you lift up. And that will just work your adductor muscle group, which gives you a little bit more sort of strength around and control around your pelvis. Okay, so knees bent or knees straight. We've got 3 more, or you could just do one long one with a hold. Good. 2 more. And final one, or you could just hang out if you want. Okay, super. Right, when you come down out of this next one, we're going to bend those knees and we're just going to hug around those knees. And you can just create a space between your knees if you need to. Okay. So we're going to finish just with a lovely stretch sequence. We're going to come into our mermaid position. So we've got one leg in front and one leg behind. Knees are both bent, kind of like windswept position. So if you've got your legs both kind of pointing one way, you're going to take the other hand down towards the mat. And over we go with our mermaid. Lengthening through the body, that feels lovely. Okay, let's come back to the centre. So you could just work here with your mermaid, or if you want to, you can add a little bit of a lift just to continue that idea of sort of strengthening through the shoulders. And as you lift, you're kind of pushing your hip forwards, and you should feel this hip flexor and this kind of inner thigh opening up as you do that. Okay, if you want to, we can add a lovely circle with the arms. So we go up, round and down, and as the arms come down, we lower the hips, up, round and down. So you've got a couple of options going on there, guys. You could just be doing your mermaid, you could be doing your mermaid with your lift, or you could be doing your mermaid with your circle arms with your lift. Let's do 2 more. I'm just worried that Zoom's going to cut me out. Okay, let's take it now into our thread the needle. 1 more chance just to open up through the spine. So passing through that hand underneath you, looking behind you. You should feel those hips a little bit more with this thread the needle as well, just because you're in that rotated position. Remembering that we're breathing here, because our breath is going to help us just to open everything up. Okay, back to the centre. Swing those legs around if you can. So you've now got the feet on the opposite side of your mat and you're resting into your opposite hand. And let's go straight into that mermaid. And as you come up and over, try and push into the side of your body. So you're trying to sort of separate your rib cage from your waist, opening up through that lovely deep side sling through the side of your body. Okay, adding that lift if you want to, pushing those hips forwards. Nice to end with a little bit of stretch, isn't it? We're usually kind of gritting our teeth at this point, and I'm doing horrible countdowns as I make you work really hard. So what a treat. We can add those circles now with those arms if you want to. Good work. Final couple. Super. Okay, and as we've opened out these hips now, let's finish, if you're happy to, with your legs crossed. Now, if your hips just don't work that way, I'm aware some people's don't, then you feel free just to sit with your legs out straight, knees bent, legs out to the side, however you feel good. Okay, so I said we were going to kind of finish off just with a pause for feeling how our minds and our bodies are this evening. So I want you just to press your hands, backs of your hands gently on your knees. Close your eyes or just focus on the spot that's not moving and just drop those shoulders down away from your ears. Start to breathe deeply down into the base of your lungs, and as you breathe in, just gently press your finger and your index finger and your thumb together. And now as you breathe out, gently press your index finger and your thumb and your middle finger. And then as you breathe in, press your thumb to your ring finger. And as you breathe out, press your little finger to your thumb. Now continue with that nice slow breathing pattern, just gently pressing every finger towards your thumb, working up and down your hand. And I'll just let you continue with that lovely slow breathing pattern. And just focusing on that movement with your hands. So we're trying to clear any other traffic in your mind. Just enjoy for another few moments a sense of stillness. And now just continuing with that lovely deep breathing, just let your hands relax. And just scanning through your body, top to bottom. Just checking in on how everything's feeling. Hopefully everything's feeling quite energized, but also relaxed and free of any stress or tension. And I am happy for you to hang out here a little bit longer, guys. Enjoy that lovely breathing pattern. Sometimes it's good just to pause and be still. And then when you're ready, come and say goodbye.